No, it's very chic to have a slightly unshaven face. They even make razors especially like that. See, the slight Brad Pitt stubble. You know?
Oh goodness, yeah. That's about the only time you'll hear me mention in the sentence with his name.
Right. So okay, well we're still at the launch party here at the same place, the Sportsman Grill, and I'm sitting here with Greg Scott McNay.
That's right.
We got his middle name down, and so. When we got to the place, because we had music on the project as well as my own poems had been copyrighted in book formatted before, so that was taken care of. But we had music that was not in the public domain, and so we needed to secure licensing for the music. Now, can you explain just briefly what the licensing is about?
Yeah, you were making mechanical copies. They were going onto a CD, and that's considered mechanical use. And so by law, you're required to have permission of the copyright owner to make those copies. So we set out to identify the people who own those songs and seek their permission to make the copies that you were wanting to create. That permission came in the form of a written license, had a royalty fee attached to it. We got the paperwork together for you, and you paid the fees that were due, and that gave you the clearance that you needed to legally have to make the copies that you created for the project.
And so that protects the producer, in this case myself, from a legal action, but in addition it also provides that the artist or the composers of that work get financial credit.
That's right.
For it.
It's part of their income. Most people think that they're not necessarily sure how songwriters get paid. But not only does it come from the use of songs on radio, but from the ongoing use of songs over the years. Because in your case, you introduced me to a good number of songs that had not been in the public eye, if you will, for many decades, as a matter of fact.
Exactly.
But those are folks who were still deserving of an income. And this is how songwriters make their money, is for people legally using those songs by requesting licenses and paying royalties for their use.
Now, the other thing that you helped us with was at the end of the project, when we were finally finished with the complete product, you helped set up the copyright application for the entire project. And also, there were 7 songs of my father that he had composed. And this was, for me, not so much a legal thing, but I wanted to really honor the work and make it really officially unregistered in the Congressional
Library of Congress.
Library of Congress.
That's right.
And so you helped me figure out how to do that.
Yeah,
So do
I
you
was
want to
glad to
speak
do that.
that?
Yeah, well, you're right. We did a couple of things. We registered the copyright in your father's songs. The copyright existed in the songs already. Registration is just an additional process that makes a public record of the fact that these songs do exist, and they were authored by your dad in this case. It was interesting working with his songs because some of them were created back as far as the 1930s, if I remember
Yes,
correctly.
that's correct.
But because they had not been previously published, he had not actually started clicking the clicking the clock of copyright term. So by registering them, we actually set in motion a life of copyright plus many years after that will apply to his song. So that was an interesting thing to work on. And then we also separately registered your copyright in the overall project, which is separate from the copyright in the individual songs or the individual poems that have been recorded. The sound recording itself is able to secure a separate copyright registration, so we set out to get that.
And when we copyrighted my father's songs, what we did was he and I sat down and we made a CD to send to them.
That's right. Yeah, part of the registration process includes giving a what they call the best version of the songs, and so sending in a recorded demo meets that qualification. So they're now part of the public and congressional record.
Do I get something? I've sent in my application, I've sent in my fees and so forth. Will they send me something back at the
You
end?
will. What you sent in was the registration certificate, and they will stamp that as having been received and filed, and send the original
About
back
how
to
long
you.
should that take?
Well, it has become slower and slower as the years have gone on. Generally, it's about a 6 to 8 month process if you file by paper.
All right, so I shouldn't be concerned.
Not
I haven't
yet,
heard from it yet.
but soon.
Okay, very good. Okay, I also want to say that as we went through these different steps in the process that Scott and I have spoken of before, the recording, the editing, the mastering, and then we got to the legal process. That was one of the last steps. And so when we got to that process, Scott and I looked at each other and said, "No, I don't think so. We're not going to be doing that one. That's like too big a body of knowledge to like suck up and try to master what we're not or something. We're generalists, we're good, but we're not that good." And we also said, well, we don't want to also have to pay a lawyer $250 for a half hour. That's overkill. But we did want to do the process for the reasons we mentioned above, to protect legally and also just to honor the work of the creatives, people. And so Scott and I we were talking on the phone right before my trip to Southern Africa. And we said, there's got to be God. There's got to be somebody that does this for a living. So look, the other dimple comes out. Get the dimple.
I'm ready for my close-up now.
Yeah, you ready for your close-up, Mr. McNair? And so anyway, we said, there's got to be this guy. So Scott went into overdrive networking, and we set everything up so he could engage the guy while I was on my trip. And so I came back, and Scott was there, and he was on the job, and he was doing a great job. And, well, Scott, I said Chris Scott.
That's all right.
Greg Scott.
That's right.
Yeah, was there and doing a great job. And both Scott Kidd and I were more than satisfied. We both felt that his work was just really perfection, not near perfection, but just truly perfection.
I appreciate that.
Just you were always very personable, very. And this is the first time we're meeting right now.
That's right.
And so, just very, very kind and friendly, and to the point with the phone that you gave me such great value for your work. You're just so efficient and effective. Just boom, boom, boom. And
I appreciate that.
I thought, I had no idea what it was cost, but I thought it cost way more than what you charged me.
Apparently, I should have sent you a larger invoice.
But no, we were very pleased and satisfied.
You and Scott both brought me great source material, good stuff to work with.
Yes.
And you'd also done your job in putting some good information for me to be able to take.
Yeah, we'd done the research that we could find on the internet through my father's sheet music that we sent you, and then it was just so great at that point for you to take it on from there. So
I enjoyed it.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you, Jen.
Really
appreciate
it. And thanks for coming to our launch
Absolutely,
dinner.
it's been my privilege.
So, okay, we're at the launch dinner with Yvonne Perry of Writers in the Sky. It's a writing service. And I had known Yvonne through, first of all, because Yvonne had hosted me on a podcast shortly on her site, shortly after my book Sightlines, A Poet's Diary came out in 2006. And that was part of the connection with Hal Minogue, who's a friend of yours. So Yvonne and Hal were my blogging buddies in Nashville. So when I moved to St. Louis, I felt like, oh, wouldn't it be great to physically see these people that I'd known virtually for several years? And there's something really odd that happens, isn't it? Like after you have a connection with somebody over a period of time, and you've traded back and forth different favors and things, there's a feeling that you really know the person somehow.
Right.
And so I wanted to see them in person, so I was coming down to Nashville, and that's really what triggered the beginning of the audiobook. And at that time, I said, Nashville, well, the perfect place to do an audiobook. And so I asked both Hal and Yvonne if they happen to know any sound engineers. And you said...
I happen to know a very good one. In fact, I'm related to my daughter's husband, Scott Kidd. That's the person you need to speak with.
Exactly. And you were so right. He just... it was really a dream collaboration. Of course, it could have gone totally wrong. We could never have been friends before. It would have been really terrible.
And then you and I would have been friends.
That's what I'm saying. It's always dangerous. Those 0 degree of connection.
Right.
But luckily, it wasn't a disaster. It was just such a joy to work with Scott. He had not only perfect technical qualifications, but he was just so easy with people and with me, and made me feel very comfortable when I was recording. It was just fun. Just really fun to work with.
Sounded like you guys had a really good time.
We really did. So thanks very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on your audiobook.
Thank you.
That you do really well.
Thank you.
Sounds on that.
Right.
Great project. Proud of you.
Thank you very much.